Right. Noise that you hear in the background is the fridge, but that's okay. This is the original raw. This is what I end up with. So what I did over here is I tried to play with stuff. I pressed the auto button, and then it was like, oh, that doesn't do anything for me. So I says, over here is the magical thing called the tone curve. It's sort of like the exposure for lights, the highlights, the lights, the darks, and the shadows. So each one goes a little bit darker. So what I did with this thing is I think, if you look at what happened over there, yeah, I just pulled that guy down and this guy down, and it made the whites of the clouds go away and made it into a deeper blue. And that's pretty much it. You can see some subtle differences. Um, let's see if I can pull that further. Well, that's its bottom. I went all the way down, and then maybe I made. Oh, I brought up the contrast, and then it just made things into the right spot. You see, oh, there's a sweet spot, and I don't know where it is. Too much makes them too bright. Too little. I do want to give detail to the neck of this thing. So I'm scrolling it up and down. You can see it's sort of the lower the contrast, the more things kind of fade into each other. The higher it is, the more neck detail there is. So there's some sort of magical spot in between that makes it nice. In this one, I settled with -5. Everything else seemed to be magically set. I put up the saturation as a +5, and saturation makes the colors more vibrant with the thingy, but maybe there's a different word because it actually says vibrance over there. So I went and just did that. Done. The other one looks like this guy. That's the original. That's what I changed it to. And I used the same things. I don't know if I really like this, but I did. I just cranked it down. But obviously the clouds are a little bit more funky. So I think I actually did some more right over here and made that like that. Let's see what else it looks like. Oh, I did some auto and it made that thing go a little bit. I think I lowered the exposure probably. Yeah, that's it. Two. So there's some stuff I can play with that's pretty much 47. Oh yeah, contrast. So then playing with the contrast a little bit to try to make everything more dark again. Even like that, up the saturation and the yellow thing can go up. Let's see what happens if I put more yellow in this thing. Wow, that's kind of cool. So there's a lot that you can play with this, but then it sort of looks a little bit unrealistic in some ways because it's a little bit strange. So the magic is this thing. This tone curve does a lot of the magic for you. When I went and did some other pictures, let's see if I can find one that's a good example. Even this one, I'm going to make a virtual copy so I don't ruin the original. If I go back and zero all these things, and then this guy goes down to 0 just so we can sample. You can see the darkness there. If you hit exposure, it'll make everything bright at the same time. I'm like, okay, yeah, that looks nice. But I actually didn't do that. Instead, I added it in one of these things. Maybe not that one, maybe this one. And it just makes the darkers lighter. So this was more of the magic that has better control, I found, in certain pictures. Sometimes I hit the auto to see how that fixes things, and it just is all this magic. And that is nice sometimes, and sometimes I don't like it. But then maybe I fine tune it a bit. What was it? The original looks, oh, maybe I like the slightly brighter. Maybe I need more contrast. They keep on saying this phrase, contrast is king. And I usually bump it to 20 or 30, and it actually makes a lot of these pictures pop out some more, in which there's depth. Not a lot of these pictures I really enjoyed, but whatevs. Contrast was the thing that made it. 15, 22. These ones are pretty black and white in terms of its color, so I didn't like that. So you wonder what would happen if you took down some of these things and you got some different colors. That would actually be nicer. So there's some work still to be done with these. That's what we did. How do I turn off?